All right, we're going to be doing some double taps at 200 yards. And I'm comparing two guns. I'm going to be comparing this 18-inch with the flash hider to my 11.5-inch with the shielded muzzle brake. Okay, and I want to see which one performs better. The conflict here is that with the 18-inch, yeah, a shielded muzzle brake would help, but the gun gets longer and heavier at the far end, and it's already a long barrel. So I want to see which one works better for me. So with these double taps, the idea is that I want to pump the trigger twice before I hit the ding. Okay, so I want to go click, click, and go here, ding, ding. Okay, what I don't want is go click, ding, click, ding. Okay, so at 200 yards, normally it's very easy shooting, but the thing that we're fighting here is the recoil, because even the 5.56 is going to have a little bit of a recoil. So we're going to try and keep it on target and take those shots as fast as possible. I'm not looking for a perfect sight picture, right? So I take the first shot. We start off like perfect. So boom, and then as long as it's moving around within the target, I'm taking that shot. The target is 2 foot by 1 foot wide. Okay, so basically the idea here is we're trying to hit a head. Okay, or basically you got a target area that's about this big here, and you can take your time with the first shot, but after that first shot impacts, that head's going to disappear, right, if you don't hit it. So that's why you got to kind of get both bullets in the air almost at the same time. Okay, so we want to go click, click, ding, ding. Okay, so we're going to try it first with this 18-inch. It's a Ruger MPR. Done lots of videos with this gun. It's got a primary arms PLX on it, and we're shooting this 18-inch barrel with the flash hider. Let's see how that goes. Okay, now this is a smooth table, so I really can't load up on the bipod. Even that's not going to stay. So I'm being consistent. That's how I'm kind of doing everything. Okay, so I got an idea where this is at. Going into the fall now, into the winter, after I shoot, I close my dust cover, because a lot of times there'll be humidity and stuff in the air, and also I don't, as we get into the colder weather, I want to keep the temperature consistent inside of the chamber. So that's another reason why I close the dust cover. In the summertime, I leave it open so that it has so it'll cool faster. But in the wintertime, especially when we get into like the freezing temperatures, I keep it closed to, unless I'm doing like a lot of shooting, where it starts heating up. If I'm doing 5 to 20 shots, I leave it closed to kind of maintain a little bit of that heat in there. All right, let me go get the other gun, and we'll try this out. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing, double taps with the 11.5-inch. Okay, this has the Radical Firearms Spitfire. So that's a shielded muzzle brake. It's got a cone on the inside. Okay, it looks almost like a baffle. Unfortunately, it's been discontinued. You can't get it. But there's a company that one of my viewers actually put me onto it, called JMac. They make something similar that has a cone on the inside, and that's what you're looking for. You're like a cone, and it looks, it's like a backwards V that kind of traps. It's a muzzle brake, traps the sound, traps the flash. I shoot this at night, and there's like no muzzle flash even on the 11.5-inch. So I'm gonna shoot this. We're gonna do double taps, 200 yards, and let's see how it compares to the 18-inch with the flash hider. off target. Okay, that was way easier. The bipod seems to be sticking to the table a little bit. They're both CV Life, so they're from the same company. So it's kind of odd how that's working, but it seems like now it might just be because of the weight, because the other one, like this one over here, has the a little bit more weight up here. It's got the shielded muzzle brake, and it's got the light. I'm not going to put a light on the 18-inch gun because it's going to get like stupid heavy up front. So having more weight in the front is probably what's making this. It's probably what's making this bipod stick to the smooth table a little bit better, because like I said, they're both CV Life bipods, and I bought them from about the same time. So yeah, it's got to be just the extra weight up front, but because the gun is only 11.5 inches, it like this 11.5 inch with all this, with the light and the bipod over here and the muzzle brake, feels the same as that 18-inch that I had, which just had a bipod on it, right? It didn't have, you know, and a flash hider. So that's one of the benefits of the 11.5 inch. You can load it up with the light, with the muzzle brake, with the bipod, and you can still like swing it around in one hand, you know, and it's it's very manageable. Without a doubt, doing those double taps at 200 yards was a lot easier with this 11.5 inch, and I think most of that is because of this shielded muzzle brake. Now this does have an adjustable gas block in here, so I've got it gassed down, you know, like to the minimal, but it's not like that Luger MPR is pretty much ejecting at 3 o'clock, so it's not like it's way over gassed or anything. And I did the same exercise with the 7.62x3.9 with my AR-15, and that one's like gassed way down. And that was, you know, by far this is the easiest. This is the easiest to do those double taps at 200 yards. And guys, I mean, I said it before, man. This 11.5 inch. This is the one gun to rule them all. Okay, this is the best AR out there. You know, get 11.5 inch. A lot of times people focus on, yeah, CQB. You know, you can get in and out of vehicles, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yes, that's true. But more importantly, right? You know, you can load this up with the bipod, with the light, with a shielded muzzle brake, with flip up sights, even with a bubble level over here, right? With a 6x magnifier in the back. And you still have a very manageable gun. So that's really the main benefit of the 11.5 inch. And with 11.5 inches, remember the cartridge itself is about 2 inches, right? So you've got, you know, basically you still have about 9 inches of length for the bullet to travel through the barrel. Okay, so it's you know, it's not like a 7.5 inch where 7.5 inch. You only got like really 5 inches for that bullet to travel down. Okay, I've tried I've worked with 7.5 inches, extremely loud. The accuracy actually drops off with those. 11.5 inch. This is a 1 MOA gun, right? This is a palmetto. All my palmettos except the like 7.5 inches, all the 5.56 palmettos, they're all like 1 MOA guns. If you put like match ammunition into them, and even with good target ammo, they'll hit 1 MOA. Done lots of videos with this gun hitting 1 MOA groups. So like I said, this 11.5 inch, man, that's the one gun to rule them all. You know, that's and again, the main value of this gun is, especially like an SHTF type of situation where you don't know where you're going to be, what the situation is going to be like, whether you're going to be shooting up close or over fields, or if you got to move into, you know, into a field area or a desert area, or if you're going to be in an urban area, right? And urban areas can actually be very long distance, right? If you're shooting down streets and avenues, right? You can almost get like almost 1,000 yards at some places. You know, this, and I've had this gun, this 11.5 inch. I've done videos where I've had this out to 500 yards, and have hit groups inside of 15 inches. Okay, I've done 15 inches or better. I don't remember the exact groups, but definitely well inside a man-sized target. Okay. So yeah, 100% answered my question, man. Like as far as like being able to take fast shots at distance, uh, having the shorter barrel with the ability to put a shielded muzzle brake on it is more of a payoff than having the longer barrel, which yeah, at 700-800 yards, sure, that's going to give you an advantage, right? But inside of 500 yards and in, this is probably the best option, especially with a 6x magnifier behind it. Okay, so drop some comments, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all soon. Everyone, I'm going to fire a couple of shots in the dark at a target without the light on, just so you guys can see how awesome this Radical Firearms muzzle brake is, how well it basically covers up the muzzle flash. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cover off. I'm going to put on the white light just so I can identify the target, and then I'm going to shoot it without any light. Cover the light back up so I don't blind myself. Okay, yeah, so I could see some sparks coming out. It almost seemed like almost like a round pattern, but I had no trouble seeing the silhouette of the target that I was shooting at. So the flash definitely not overwhelming. I basically shot that about 10 feet in front of the camera, where you would expect the flash to be a lot more visible. This time I'm going to go maybe about 30 feet away, okay? And you guys can see what the flash looks like, because it is different. So let me do that now. Good thing about the blue light is you can kind of shine it down at your feet and see where you're walking in the dark. An interesting thing about that is while I was walking away and shining the blue light at my feet, you guys couldn't see it at all in the camera. So even though I was like within, within from 10 feet going out to 30 feet. I'm going to attach an older video here where I'm shooting my 13-inch, which is longer than the other one, which was 11.5 inches. But this one is just with a flash hider. And you can see the enormous muzzle flash on this thing. Okay, so these shielded muzzle brakes can make a big difference with the flash. Goodbye, baby.